Welcome back to SciTech Intermountain Earthworks training videos. In this video today, I want to show you how to do an infield design for a pipeline. What I've got here is I've got a pipe box staked out here and a pipe box staked out down there, but we are actually going to run our earthworks on UTS. I'm going to run a total station to actually shoot in all of this right here with my total station set up out here. The beauty of this video is if you have a total station but you don't have a data collector or any way of setting up the total station, I'm going to show you how to just turn it on, level it up, and actually just put it in machine control right from the faceplate. The only thing that you're not going to be able to do is set the window. If you're familiar with using a total station, usually you set the window for a search. That's the one thing that you can't set up. But if you do it right, then I'll show you how. You can turn it just to the right a little bit of the initial setup, turn it on, level it on, and it will still hook up to the actual excavator, and then we're going to do an infield design. So let's go ahead and start with the total station. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is turn on my total station. I've got my legs solid, and I've leveled it up based on the actual base plate there. I don't have a good way of actually showing you guys what's going on the screen right here. I don't have a way of emulating that. But right off the bat, it comes up with setup and level. So I'm going to hit the enter button to actually make sure that I level it up inside the actual unit. So I'm going to go through the 1-250, the 1-1000, keep hitting this button, and I'm going to level it up through 110 because I'm not actually going to touch this total station with or hook up to it with a data collector. So I do want to spend just a couple extra seconds to make sure that even down to this 1-1 ratio that I've got it as level as I can possibly get it, which is about right there. As soon as I hit exit, I've got site positioning and machine control. I'm going to go put it in machine control mode right there. So at the bottom, I've got channel 1010, which is if I'm going to hook up to it with the data collector, and then it will cycle through the last channel that it was on for machine control, which is 3131. So without even touching this thing with a data collector, it's leveled, it's set up, and I'm going to go ahead and just generally point it the way that I need it for the excavator itself. So now what we're going to do is go over, and before I actually hook up into the excavator, I'm going to show you how to lay out the box really quick and actually set just a 10-foot offset so that when you're in the machine, you don't have to get out and actually look at actually set the offset, if you will. We're going to do an infield design from box to box, setting the exact flow line position with the actual cut. So what I've got here is a 10-foot to the inside corner, and the same thing, a 10-foot. I got a fill of 50 to the rim, but I'm not worried about the actual box itself. I'm interested, in this cut of 360 to flow line in. So we're actually going to start on that end when we dig. So what I'm going to do is grab my can of paint, and I'm going to just pull my 10-foot offset. My hubs for the elevation are basically at the dirt elevation, but I'm going to go ahead and set my 10-foot offset with just a simple paint on the ground. All I'm going to do here is just go ahead and hit a dot on the ground or a line to basically say, hey, right there, that's my 10-foot offset, and I'm going to end up extending out beyond that. So let's do the same thing on this box real quick before we get in the excavator. So on these stakes, same thing, 10-foot to inside corner, 10 foot to the rim of a fill of 06, but the cut of 420 to flow line out. Same thing, my hub is basically at dirt elevation, so I'm going to go ahead and paint myself a 10-foot offset. So right there, I've established my 10-foot dot, so I know exactly where it's at. Now we can go build everything from inside the machine. Okay, now that we're in the machine, we're in a cat grade or cat machine, so it's branded cat grade. I got 2 red boxes. No big deal. That's just because when I go to system status, the guidance solution is red because I haven't hooked to the total station yet. And on the machine setup, I have it set to UTS right, which is my right rear if you're sitting in the machine, my 48-inch bucket, and this yellow box is the UTS setup. We're going to go UTS setup, and right here you set in the channel 3131, which is the channel that my total station is sitting on. So we're going to go ahead and hit next. and then run this box, it recognizes that there's a total station already out there on 3131. It wants me to tap to start. So when you do the tap to start, what it's going to do is start making the communication and configuring to the total station itself. And then it will go into a search in the exact spot that it's pointing, because I didn't set the window on it, but it will start searching in the spot that I left it. That's the whole reason that I kind of pre-pointed it towards the machine. Now it's configuring. It'll spin 180 degrees out there, and then it will turn back towards the machine and do a quick search. So you can see right there it says searching. Now it's tracking, so we're good to go. So now what we do is go ahead and hit tap to use for guidance. Now that it's being used for guidance, I can see how much power it has and how far away it is. All I do is go ahead and hit done. And now I'm ready to go. I can hit apply, and I can start into after my dashboard. Now, right off the bat, if any of you have used a total station on an excavator, is it doesn't know exactly where you're at until you start rotating the body. Well, the other thing I wanted to do is I haven't started a brand new project yet. So I'm going to go into shovel with the gear, and I'm going to go job setup, and where it says project, I'm going to hit the black box, and I'm going to create a brand new project. And I'm going to call this the pipe storm drain. So this is all 100% all off grid. I am not using a base. I'm not using a design. I'm not using points. I'm not using GPS. I am 100% from me to that total station, and I haven't even used a data collector yet. So I've started to pipe storm drain. I can do it in depth and slope, but it doesn't record that as an actual point, or excuse me, design. So I want to show you the infield option. So in Infield Design, I'm going to go to Design, and I'm going to hit the black box, and I'm going to create one. What I'm going to do is Slope. So I'm going to do Slope, which is going to be a 2-point option. So what it wants me to do is to rotate the body to give the actual total station a position as to where it's at. So it's without moving the tracks yet, you just rotate the body, and we're good to go. So now, but as soon as you do move the tracks, it'll want me to rotate the body again, which is not a big deal. So I'm going to just go ahead and get squared up with this pipe line that I've got kind of laid out here. Okay, so as soon as I get over by the stake, I'm going to move forward a little bit and look and see that it's a cut of 420. So it's a cut of 420 from that hub. So now what I'm going to do is just back up just a little bit, and I'm going to do my rotation to make sure that the total station has a good lock on me. Anytime you move the undercarriage, you have to do a little rotation. So I got a cut of 420. What I'm going to do is set my teeth over by that hub, right down in front of it. And I'm going to do this here position. I'm going to hit here to tell me what the elevation is right there in front of me. I don't do math very well in my head, so what I'm going to do is use the calculator here. And I'm going to go 4.20 minus 9186. And what I need to do is I need to set my elevation there to 8766. So I'm going to come over here and set right where that paint mark is, right in the middle. And I'm going to hit the here button, which is going to give me the northing and easting that I need, but I'm going to edit the elevation here. So I'm going to tap in the elevation, and I'm going to put 87.66 to establish the elevation. So I've done that one. That one is good to go. So now it's on 2-point right here, because you got point and direction and then 2 points. So we'll leave it there. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and track backwards here. And I'm going to kind of spin just sideways so that I don't lose my total station tracking. If I spin towards the total station, I'm going to lose the line of sight, and then it's going to be giving me some more problems. What I'm going to do is spin around and look at what my elevation is, or my cut on this one. So this one is a cut of 360 to flow line. So now what I'm going to do is just back past it. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to rotate until I get the actual total station tracking again. Now that I've got the total station, I'm going to just do the exact same process again. I'm going to set over by the hub here to know what the elevation is. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is do 92.84 minus 3.60. So 89.24 is what I need this one to be on. So what I'm going to do now is set over at this center line of the pipe right here. I'm going to hit here, and then I'm just going to type in the elevation that I want. I'm going to go 89.24, and then hit there, and then boom, I'm good to go. I can hit next, and here's the cool part is if I needed to, I could give it a slope side to side, but I'm not going to do that. All I wanted is an alignment, and it'll obviously have a slope up or down based on the flow line, but I don't need to pitch it side to side, so we're just going to leave that at 0. I'm going to hit next, and I'm going to call it the storm drain pipe, and then I'm going to hit that, and then I'm going to hit the accept button, and it basically creates me a design. So now I can go ahead and hit select, and see right here I've got pipe storm drain as a project, mode infield, measured data, and then storm drain pipe. I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. We are good to go, and I'll show you the alignment that we have now also. Let me change this screen to the split screen, and we'll go ahead and change this bottom one to, we'll go ahead and put in plan view. Sometimes it's nice to look at that. So in plan view, you can see that I've got a blue line. It's not my green crosshairs. My green crosshairs are straight off of the machine, which means that if I rotate this way, that's more straight in line with the pipe in front of me. But I've got an actual blue line that gives me reference in between those two. Here's the cool part is now if I set down on this point right here, and you can see that I've got a cut of 360, which means the elevation was almost the same from there to there. So I have flow line, pipeline, and a true cut. And what I could do is go in here to my vertical offset and put in a bunch of memories. So I could go into the memories here and actually create one now that's maybe, let's put in a bedding sand. Or let's do an over X. So let's do an extra 1 foot below that is a memory. And then what I'll do is I'll toggle through another one and put in maybe flow line, bedding sand, which is maybe a 0.25 below. Then the other thing I could do is I could also put in a cover over the top of the pipe. We're not actually going to set any today, but let's say I need a 2-foot cover. We'll leave that as a positive. The reason I'm showing you this is because now on the main screen, as I start digging, I can actually just toggle in between through my vertical offsets. So I can go here to 0, then I could go and hit a -2.5, I could hit a -1 foot, and then a 2 foot for a bedding sand over the top. So we're good to go. We're ready to start digging. One more thing that's really helpful when you're doing this is on this screen right here, you can see that there's just nothing showing on that one, but there is on plan view. You can go into the horizontal offset right here and actually select that blue line, and don't put any offset in it. Just leave it as that and hit apply. Now my light bar at the top is set to center line, and I actually have a red line with a tagging line down to it. So we are good to go to start digging. So let's come up here and just start digging. Once I get to here, I got to do a body rotate once again in order for it to associate where I'm at. As soon as I've done that, I can start by lining up with the total state, with the blue line. So now, see that blue line and my green controlling line there? I can use that as a reference. I don't have to have a line painted underneath me anymore. So we're good to go. We got about a 4-foot cut here. I'm going to back up a little bit, which is going to create a situation where I need to rotate the body. So that's the only inherent problem with the total station. But the neat part is the actual elevation. If you look at the elevation here, I've got every 100th now. Instead of normal GPS where it would go 80 to 85 to 90, I've got the hundredths in between now, so it's much more accurate too. Which I know any of you guys that are watching this that are going to pipe guys, you know that your accuracy with GPS is an issue, right? It's one of those things that a lot of people don't really trust it. And I agree, if you're going to actually set down pipe, use the GPS just as alignments to know exactly where the pipes are and a general grade. But when you're actually setting that bedding sand that's going to be your flow line or the final set of that pipe, I'm totally all about still using a pipe laser. I actually wouldn't use GPS to set that flow line anyways. In this case, with total station, though, you can actually be quite a bit more accurate still. Just something to try. And I understand that not everybody's got a total station. You know, they're kind of expensive units. But if you work for a company that has one and you want to actually kind of be off grid and do some of this infield design to utilize the equipment for what you've got, what it was intended for, but not have to worry about needing a design from someone all the time. You can build your own designs. You don't have to have a data collector with you. All you need is the total station and some charged batteries. So, but as soon as we get pretty close to grade down here, what I'm going to do is change my offset to maybe that 0.25 down. So we'll go ahead and set it down to that and start digging. I don't actually have any pipe, obviously, for this video. It was more intended just to kind of show you the theory of it all. But the box obviously isn't set also. But right there, you can see I'm bouncing in the hundreds. It's so weird, it's even for me to watch those numbers go into the hundreds because GPS is just always going to only change based on the 500s at a time. But that's elevation there. I don't have autos on this machine, so we're just going to go ahead and freehand a lot of this. Once you feel like you're good and you actually line back up down in the trench, you can also see your light bar and how far off you are based on that red. And down here on this one, you can see that if I back straight up from where I'm at, that green line is actually on where the actual horizontal needs to be. So we're going to go ahead and just back up a little bit. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll give it a body rotate to give that total station just a second to understand where we're at in the world. We're good to go. Let's keep digging. We can go ahead and slick that floor up and then stop and check just a hair low so we can start ringing her up a little bit. There we go, within 500s. So hopefully any of you that are watching this video, you know, that are not necessarily going to use the total station option, but any of you that actually don't use the machine for doing your own pipe, just know that it's actually pretty easy. You've already got most everything already staked out on your job sites, like I have here. It's just not that hard to go ahead and take a couple minutes. It's just understanding how to use the equipment and how to make your life easier, because I've done all this all by myself in the matter of, 10, 12 minutes, laid it out, set it up, set the total station, set it up in here, good to go. You just constantly make infill designs and delete them as you need it. So I appreciate anybody watching this video, and hope that some of the stuff that I taught today on Earthworks and using a total station and infield design, off-grid is what I call it. No GPS, like I said. This is 100% off-grid, no data collector in my hand, no thumb drive, no model, no CAD, nothing. But in a matter of a couple minutes, I got it to where I'm digging and I'm ready to go. So thank you for watching this video from Site Tech Intermountain Earthworks training videos.